So, Kambo. Ever heard of it? Kambo. Let me just read what it is, and I'll explain to you why I'm making this video. So, Kambo is a substance that comes from frog secretion, and for many indigenous cultures in the Amazon, this purgative immunity-boosting medicine is very important. It's known in Portuguese as the vaccine of the forest, and it's a powerful treatment for chronic pain and drug dependence. It's a powerful substance and shouldn't be administered except under the care of an experienced practitioner. They can guide you to gain the maximum benefit from a Kambo application. It's supposed to help with depression, migraines, blood circulation problems, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, vascular insufficiencies, organ disease, cancer, fertility. The list goes on and on. So I wanted to leave a review for it because it was a pretty profound experience I had. I'd never heard of Kambo up until about a month ago, and I just tried my first session on New Year's Day. Check those out. Some might call them burn marks, but in Kambo they're called gates. So let me just explain what this process is. And then I'll also leave a link in the description to the practitioner, Stacy, who administers these here locally in Houston. I don't know of anybody else that's doing it here. But I went into this not really expecting anything. To be honest, knowing that it was from a frog in the Amazon, I kind of thought it was going to be like a psychedelic trip or something. Like I was going to have some sort of ego death and whatnot. Wasn't like that. So what they do is they take, I think it's like sweat or some sort of like liquid substance from this frog in the Amazon, and they put little small burn marks on you somewhere on your body, and they put this sort of paste on top of the burn mark, and it absorbs into the body, and it works as a sort of detox and as a purging mechanism. So I was not expecting that. Okay, I'll start by saying that. So I get there, I kind of lay down, I get relaxed. We do some sort of, some kind of initiations to begin with, just kind of getting in the right mind state. And what I wasn't expecting is being burned. So Stacy told me, you know, she's going to put 6 burn marks. She kind of gave me the instructions. She's going to put one on one at first. Let me feel the effects, and then put the other 5, and it lasts about 20 to 30 minutes. And so some of the symptoms are, well, let me just tell you my experience. So she put the first one on there. We were kind of just talking. I was fine. I started to feel a little warm and flush, which is one of the major symptoms of it. And after about 5 minutes, she applied the other 5. So immediately I started to turn a few more shades red, and it's not uncommon to kind of have a little bit of swelling, whether it be in the lips, in the eyes. I had swelling almost kind of in my whole body. I noticed like halfway through, I looked down at my hands, and my hands were like super red, and they were also kind of swollen. And so after she applied all 6, I think I lasted maybe a minute, and I started purging. And when I mean purging, I mean yakking, like throwing up, like hurling. And you're supposed to fast for like 7 hours and without any food or any water before you do this. And what it does is it purges your body of impurities, toxins, and it also puts into your body certain peptides to help not only the gut, which if you know anything about the gut, it's your second brain, but also your immune system. And so I started just throwing up. I was in hell for about 15 minutes, and I was throwing up for about 10. And I had some symptoms in my gut. I had a mass in my intestines when I was like 22, diagnosed with it. I took alternative medicine and alternative procedures rather than surgery. Imaging work about 3 years ago showed that it's gone. But I've still kind of had secondary symptoms and ailments from that shit that happened to me. I say all that and preface that because everybody kind of has a different experience with Kambo. I had this Hercules type grip in my gut, just wrenching and turning, and it hurt like hell. But part of the philosophy behind this is that if you can endure the suffering, not only is it going to bring you into the present state, but it's also going to help build your, let's say, tolerance for enduring suffering in day-to-day life, whether it be somebody hurting your feelings, stubbing your toe, or emotional pain and depression, challenges. So the way that I looked at it was from a form of surrender. So I surrendered to it. It sucked for a little while. Afterwards, I kind of slowly started to calm down. I'll also say I had what's called T-Rex hands, is what they call it, where everything kind of gets tingly. My arms felt like they were 30 pounds apiece, and I couldn't hardly move them, and they were stuck about like this right here. So if you can imagine, I got a bucket in between my hands and just yakking right here, just hating life. But after about 20 minutes, I started to come back to, and I started to feel a little more relieved. I drank some tea, I had some water, and we were talking for a little while. It took me about, after the session of 20 minutes, it took about another 20 to 30 minutes to finally like feel at ease. And when I did feel at ease, I felt amazing. I felt clear. There was clarity. The pain in my stomach went away, and not only that, but I slept great that night. And mind you, I was energized too. I probably didn't go to sleep until like 1 or 1:30 in the morning. I had work the next day. Woke up at 6 o'clock, fully energized. Which waking up at 6 o'clock was a fucking challenge for me all of 2019. I failed at it almost every day. So the fact that I was able to get up, start my New Year's resolutions, get up on time, and just kick ass and not drag ass the next day was a sign for me. So at the end of it all, it was an interesting experience. Stacy Rohr is excellent as far as being an administrator, and I swear she's got angels around her all the time. She's a sweetheart. And so if you're looking for something that maybe other solutions aren't helping as far as ailments, whether they be physical, mental, or spiritual, this is a cleanse on every level. And indigenous tribes and cultures have been doing it for hundreds of years. There's a lot of information out there about it. I chose the path of surrendering without going into any research or anything like that. Might not be a bad idea if you want to go that route, or if you want to make sure if it's something for you, read some stuff online. There's going to be some good stuff, there's going to be some bad stuff, there's going to be some scary stuff, there's going to be some enlightening stuff. And so do your due diligence. But if you're interested, I'm going to leave the link below, or you can direct message me, and I can introduce you to Stacy. But she's great. As far as I know, she's the only practitioner out here in the Houston area. And so highly recommend getting in touch with her if you feel like this resonates with you. Resonated with me. I really enjoyed it, although it was a practice of suffering and endurance. With great risk comes great reward. And I'll kind of leave it at that. So if you don't suffer, you're not growing. It means you're staying too comfortable.